Okay, looks like I'm live. Oh,
Okay.
I
Kido?
guess, yes, hello. I guess Toka and Eraser are back with me now.
Yes, and you know what? You are live.
Okay, bonjour.
The pressure is on.
Yes, the insane pressure. How many viewers do we have? 30. Oh, that's actually more than I'd expected. Okay.
Honestly,
after
that's
Kata's
more
host,
than-
it will be 200. So
Oh
we
no,
get there.
Kata, please don't host. No.
Please, Kata, host.
I don't want to do this. Okay. Hello everyone. My name
I
is
just want to say-
Tired.
I just want to say, 38 viewer for Epilogue is too much.
Yeah, true. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to PoPRuns. I'm starting this year for some reason because this is the pinnacle of the pop community, of course. Prince of Persia 2008, of course, everyone's favorite pop game, and then, of course, we've got the DLC that's console exclusive that almost no one has played. So yeah, fun.
Time
Anyway.
is ready. Just say when you're ready to go.
Alright, so just to quickly state, in the beginning, I'll have to switch my headset from PC to console, and I won't be able to hear anything on Discord, so I'll switch the headset and then tell you when to start and hope that you get that.
Sure.
So, I'm off now. This is a highly professional setup for a highly professional marathon. Alright, usually time is supposed to start after this loading screen, but I'm just gonna say we'll start when the loading screen starts. So, let's do it in 3, 2, 1, go. And, okay, so we start this run by loading a save file of the very beginning of the game. Usually there's supposed to be like a 2-minute cutscene. We can't be bothered to watch it, so we just load the beginning of the game. And get started. On console, because this is a console exclusive, the loading screen itself actually takes a while, but it's still considerably shorter than watching the whole cutscene. Anyway, there's nothing significantly tricky about this beginning bit. In fact, we're on a cycle and we have like a spare 10 seconds or something to just waste time here, so it really doesn't matter if we get something wrong. Just heading into the first fight. And later on after the fight there will be some traps, and the cycles there are super long, and as I said, we have like a spare 10 seconds. So this is the DLC. This takes place immediately after the events of the base game, so if you haven't played the base game, you'll be really confused about what on earth is going on. But anyway, this is Elika. This is Elika's father, who's been corrupted. We have to fight him now, but first we have to go pick Elika up because we need her to attack. Do some QTEs. So, the way I did that fight there is by doing a specific combo. The way the combos work is you, with each hit you can either do a sword hit, an Elika hit, a gauntlet hit, or a jump hit. And you can kind of mix those together to get certain combos, and then the longer your combo, the more damage you do. In general, it's a bit more complicated than that, but in general, the longer the combo, the more damage you do. Anyway, we were waiting for this blob, which is why I said we weren't really in any hurry before. And we continue. Hopefully we'll get... yeah, we're on a good cycle here. There's gonna be an enemy here. we can kill him before he spawns. This is just a mechanic of the game. This isn't a speedrun trick. It's just literally a thing where if you're fast enough, you can kill the enemy before he spawns, and then continue, so you don't have to fight him. Let's see what kind of cycle we're gonna get here. Okay, so we have to wait on this cycle here. I believe this is random. Sometimes you don't have to wait. There might be an explanation for it other than it being random, but I wouldn't know what that is. I'm a fairly new runner of this category. Realistically, if you take away all the breaks that I've been taking, I've been running this for a week. However, I have been running this game for like a year now. Anyway, so, oh crap, I've messed up. Yeah, I have to fight this enemy now, so you can see what happens if you mess up. I'll try to throw him off the ledge. No, he didn't quite die. That's fine. So, with these minions, these are just the mini enemies. We don't really care about those very much. We're supposed to skip all of them, actually. I obviously failed with that one. With these minions, the way to fight them is to just throw them off the ledge or into a wall. We can actually attempt to fight them by dealing damage, but it just takes way too long. You're welcome, Vinny. Anyway, so here's another enemy. Let's try to skip this one. So some of them you can just literally run away from before they spawn. Some of them you actually have to go there and kill. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to do a trick here. This is a drop glitch. Basically, I can like drop down and then jump like that to do a small skip here. So in this game, you see how I'm kind of wall running up right now? When you're on a wall, you can also grind down from it indefinitely. And that glitch that I just did, the drop glitch, the way it works is that you start grinding like from a ledge, and you start grinding from a wall, and then during the transition between the walking animation and the grinding animation, it turns out you can jump in any direction, which you're not supposed to be able to do, so that's a glitch. Anyway, we can skip this lever here, but it's quite precise, so we're just gonna pull it. Do some casual platforming. So this is the grinding that I was talking about. As you can see, you can just grind like this indefinitely. And we have to pull another lever. With these levers, we have to wait for Elika to get there. Unfortunately, there's no way to speed it up. This, okay, oh my, okay, that worked. That wall run is harder than it looks, I can assure you. It's a bit weird, but if you don't jump from like a very specific angle, for some reason the prince just dies. Oh crap, I messed that up. Okay, well I guess I can do this wall run again and hopefully not fail. So I was trying to do a skip there. Let's try it again. So it's supposed to go up, but there's a platform behind us, and we can jump to it like that. And we go into a fight. This is the Shapeshifter. So if you played the base game, you know this guy as the warrior. We have to kill him. And when we do, he's gonna turn into the hunter, and then we have to kill the hunter. So we're just gonna knock him off the ledge if we can. There we go, then we've got a QTE. There is a new mechanic in the DLC that doesn't exist in the base game, which is the charging. Now, you're gonna see this right now. The hunter is either gonna charge me, or I'm gonna charge the hunter. It's RNG which way around it happens. It's better if I charge the hunter, but he charged us. So, It's just a new mechanic. Basically, all it is you just run towards the enemy, or the enemy runs towards you really quickly. And that's all it is. Anyway, so we've killed him. There's a small cutscene here.
Ahriman is creating creatures from the corruption, but he must still be weak. He's using forms he's familiar with, ones he can create easily.
So those weren't the corrupted?
And then we continue onwards. So, we're about to do a new glitch that we haven't seen yet, called the airwalk. I'll explain in a bit more detail how this works later, because it's related to another glitch and it's just easier to explain the other glitch first. But for now, all you need to know is that when there's a beam, we can airwalk like this. And here I had to count 5 steps so that we can do a small skip here just to get to this wall faster. And let's see what kind of cycles am I gonna get here. I think this is a decent cycle if I don't mess up. Yeah, we're good. That was a good cycle. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, so there's another glitch that's coming up. It's called the ledge warp. Basically, any ledge that you hang from, you can teleport to by jumping halfway off a beam. So it'll be much easier to understand once you actually see it in action. Basically, I'm hanging here, then I jump back, so I have ledge storage there now. Then I get on this beam here, and then I land on the end of it in a very particular way so that the prince is kind of halfway off it. Oops. And then he teleports there. And then we can actually use this to clip out of bounds as well, because we teleported to the location where I had ledge storage, but I was facing a different direction, so I was able to clip into a wall, and now we're just sort of grinding down the inside of the wall, and that was a big skip. And so that was the ledge warp glitch, where you can basically teleport to any ledge that you hung from. And if you remember earlier, I talked about the airwalk. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I don't think anyone knows exactly how it works, but the way the airwalk works is that you do a ledge warp to the beam that you're ledge warping from. So when I did the airwalk, we'll do more airwalks later, so you'll get to see it. But basically, you have to ledge warp to the location where you're already at. Again, it's a bit more complicated than that. I'm simplifying, but for the sake of this marathon run, that's all you need to know, really. The rest of the complicated bits are really just trial and error. Basically, every beam is different and things need to be tested. Anyway, this is the Hamam. Most noteworthy for the Hamam Skip, which will be coming up in a minute or two. This is probably, to me, the second hardest skip in the game. However, it's certainly the most punishing, because if you fail it, you lose like 1 or 2 minutes.
Maybe there's some sort of temple, somewhere we can activate the plate?
So, first, a small cutscene. If you played the base game, you'll remember that there were 4 energy plates. So there was green, red, yellow, and blue, and all of them did different things. Like with the green plate, you could run on walls. Red plate, you could fly. This is a new plate, which is the purple one, which allows you to fly, and also it creates like it creates platforms where the platforms don't exist anymore. So you're about to see it here. I just used the purple plate. And then, right here, there's a cutscene to introduce us to it. So these blue shutters, or whatever they are, or windows, just appeared, and we can use them to wall run across. So that's a new power that wasn't in the base game. To pull this lever. And then you see how the corruption is sinking there. Technically, playing casually, you're supposed to keep like going here and keep moving levers until you eventually sink the corruption all the way down so that you can go down. However, turns out that corruption doesn't actually behave like corruption, it's just visual. So we can skip it. And we're gonna do this with Hamam Skip. So first I'm gonna do an Elica clip. Basically, if you double jump into a ceiling, you can clip through the ceiling. And then there's gonna be a precise jump, which I'll have to do, and hopefully not fail. If I do fail, this is very punishing. I'll lose like 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, so first let's try the Elica clip. There we go, we clip through the ceiling, and... okay, there, got it. So I had to do this precise jump onto this wall. In theory, if we could play this on mouse and keyboard, this would be completely easy. Also, by the way, we just jumped through that corruption, as you can see. It's gone now, but... yeah, what was I saying? Right, Hamam Skip. In theory, on mouse and keyboard, it would be completely free, because you could just hold A on the keyboard or left, and then just jump. But on controller, it's actually quite challenging, because you have to hold left very precisely. If you're just a tiny bit off, it's not gonna work. So anyway, another Shapeshifter fight. Again, we're just gonna knock him off the ledge. And then in the warrior's place, we're gonna get the hunter and then knock him off the ledge too. He takes a while to spawn. Anyway, let's see if we can charge him there. We charged him this time. It's better to charge him rather than him charging us, because then we don't have to knock him back off the ledge as far.
Take whatever form you want.
If he charges us, then we have to do like a throw combo,
If he's trying to stop
which takes like an extra 2 or 3 seconds.
scared of you.
I can't stop.
Anyway, a small cutscene and then we continue.
I haven't the power to stop him. Only Ormaz can do that.
Okay. So here, there's some invisible corruption on that wall. You can't see it, but okay, we should be good. Yeah, it's actually quite tight grinding there. If you haven't run this game, you really can't see that there's anything tight there, but there is, because there's some invisible corruption. It's not too hard, but it certainly caught me out when I first learned this run. Anyway, do some casual platforming up. Jump back here. A small skip here. It's not really a skip, it just allows us to catch a better cycle. Basically, if that cycle there with the blobs on the left doesn't line up, we can just do a jump like I did just now. I think we should wait on this cycle. Okay. A lot of this run is just like going through traps. And the traps spawn very early in advance. Like, if you remember when we started the run, I said that it doesn't matter if I lose time because we're already on a cycle. That's because when we started the run, the traps that realistically only appear like a minute and a half or 2 minutes into the run were already loaded. So they load very far in advance, and as such it's very difficult to predict. It's very difficult to predict what cycle you're gonna get. Because the tiniest misstep, like 2 minutes before the traps, and you'll get a completely different cycle. I'm gonna wait for this one here. That enemy that I just killed is actually quite difficult to kill before he spawns. Yeah, you really have to move quickly there. Oh, okay, we can move here. Okay, I barely avoided that blob there. Should be good on this one, yep. We can shorter jump here by using the double jump. And then, alright, let's just wait for that blob to go back down. Actually, oh my, I don't know if we can die by staying there. Okay, and then we're gonna kill this enemy before he spawns. And then we flick this switch and enter garden. So we're about to see now the garden airwalk. This, in my opinion, is the hardest trick in this run, because the positioning is very precise, and it's particularly difficult to do on controller because you can't hold like a straightforward input.
Is this place?
So, as I said earlier, if you didn't pay attention to the airwalk that we did before, this is the airwalk. So we get ledge storage on this beam, and then we're gonna ledge warp to this beam. But because the game then gets confused, it doesn't actually teleport us to this beam, it just allows us to walk indefinitely. And this one is quite tough to get though, so it might take me a while. Sometimes it takes me like a full minute, so bear with me. We just have to land in quite a precise way. I think I'm too close to it now. Oh, it might work. Okay, good. Okay, so this one was 25 steps, I had to count. And so we skip a bunch of this platforming that's here by doing that. See, there are these 3 switches. As you can see on the left on the door, there are 3 locks. And there are 3 switches, 1 for each lock. And you're supposed to casually like move a bunch of levers and then... Oh, okay. You're supposed to move a bunch of levers, and every time you flick a switch, you're supposed to come back to the central platform, the one where I airwalked from, and then move more levers, go to another switch, and you keep going like that. But with that airwalk, we don't have to flick any levers, and we can just navigate to all of the switches by doing some tricks. So there's one trick here to navigate to the other one. We just jump under that platform and then grind here like that, and that should be the last switch. Right here. And then we actually return to the final platform because now we've opened the door, we've unlocked all the locks. So we actually have to go to the door now. So there's the door. And then we're gonna go into another dad fight. So, for these dad fights, we generally just have a combo that we've tested to have the highest DPS, so damage per second in the long run. And we pretty much spam that over and over again, but sometimes we do some shorter combos where we don't need to do that full combo's worth of damage. So first a QTE, and then this is the combo that we usually spam over and over again. This time we only do it once, and then we do a slightly shorter combo twice. And then he should be dead. And so basically the 2 combos that I just did there were Elika, jump, sword, sword, sword. That's the one that we usually spam over and over again. But then at the start we can take away one of the Elikas to do a bit less damage. But that's simply because if we spammed the combo with the higher DPS over and over again, we'd still need 3 combos. So we might as well take away some attacks from 2 of the combos just to save like 1 or 2 seconds.
Keep doing that.
We must use the plates.
And I was going to say we should just
This is the green plate. You would have seen this in the base game if you've played it. In Epilogue though, in this DLC, these plates are actually a lot more challenging, and in general, to be honest, the casual gameplay is a lot more challenging in this DLC than in the base game. The traps are a lot harder to navigate, And these are a lot tighter. These you actually have to focus on even in runs, because they can really catch you out. And then we have another green plate section, and then we should be approaching another Shapeshifter fight soon. If you haven't seen the base game though, Samabam and I will be racing that on Sunday, so you can see that then. It's a much longer run though, any percent. The current world record for it is 2 hours and 18 minutes. But for a marathon, the estimate is 2:35. Anyway, we're gonna jump in there and into another fight. So this is another Shapeshifter fight. We've had 2 of those already, or actually I think maybe even 3. I'm not sure. This might be the 3rd one. Most of them are pretty much the same though. You either charge or get charged. This time we got charged. And then you knock the enemies off the ledge. And as I said before, it's better to charge the enemy rather than the enemy charging you, because then you don't have to knock them as far. As you can see with the warrior here, in particular, it's taking really long to get him to the ledge. And then we get knocked back and the hunter spawns. Same thing as before. And then after this one, we'll have one more of these Shapeshifter fights. Let's see, we got charged again. So we do a throw combo, which is Elika, Gauntlet, Sword. Technically that's not... Like, that combo isn't necessarily designed for throwing. I mean, to some extent it is. But at the end of the day, you're still supposed to do damage with it. It's just that as speedrunners, whenever we use that combo, we don't actually care about the damage that it does. We just want to throw the enemy off the ledge. If we do care about damage, we have much better combos to do with much higher DPSs. So this next section is kind of boring for the speedrun. Casually, it's okay, I guess. There's some puzzles. But for the speedrun, it's just you turn some levers and then do some casual platforming for the next like 2 or 3 minutes. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But yeah, as you can see, we're just turning these levers to rotate those platforms, and then later on we're going to be using those platforms to, well, do platforming. So, like that. And because we just used the purple plate, these blue walls are appearing. So lore-wise, I think these areas existed in the past, but they've been destroyed, and the purple plate basically sort of makes them reappear for a limited amount of time. There's a very similar mechanic in the Forgotten Sands, if anyone has played that game. Except there it's not a power plate, there you can trigger it at will. Yes, Robbie has played the Forgotten Sands. Oh no, on the PSP. Yeah, I think there is a Forgotten Sands PSP run in PoPRuns, I think. I can't remember what day it is. But if you are interested in seeing more of the Prince of Persia runs, because there are a bunch of them, like, this is not it. Obviously I'm just doing quite an unpopular game and an unpopular category too. Or actually it's becoming quite popular, this category. But there are going to be a lot more Prince of Persia games in the next 2 days. So we're gonna have the Sands trilogy. There's actually gonna be a Sands trilogy relay. So the entire Sands trilogy played all in one go. Oops, wrong way. There's gonna be the Forgotten Sands. As I said, I'll run this game with Samabam, except the base game and not the DLC. There'll be the original Prince of Persia. There's lots of exciting stuff. If you want to check it out, if you haven't already, if you just check below the stream, there should be a link to the schedule. If you just click on that, you'll be able to see all of the runs and when they will take place in your local time zone. Though bear in mind that this is a marathon, and of course the times are only estimated. And the runs may actually start like 10 to 20 minutes before or after they were supposed to. But if you already watch marathons regularly, you will already know everything I've just told you. Anyway, so that boring area that I was talking about earlier, we've just passed that. And now we head into another dad fight. So this one, if you remember that combo I was talking about that we spam over and over again, that's Elika, Elika, jump, sword, sword, sword. We're gonna do that 3 times here, and then 2 more times with 1 fewer Elika attacks. So pay attention to how many Elika attacks I'm doing in each combo. So there's 1, 2, and in the next combo there will also be 2. And then in the next combo there's gonna be 2 again, so 1, 2, and then we're gonna have just 1. And then finish off with 1 again. Oops, I messed up the combo. I blame that on the lag. No, I mean, it's my fault, of course. Though, typically, I've spent the most time running this game on PC, and some of the fights are a bit more laggy on console. Because, of course, the PS3 isn't as powerful as the PC.
Let's get out of here before he comes back.
And the way lag works in this game is that the game actually slows down when it lags, and in that particular fight it lagged a bit and I didn't take that into account. Anyway, another airwalk here, I have to count now.
We're getting close. We are almost through this place.
Okay, that should be 46. Yep, we're good. So that just skips some platforming because we just airwalk there. If you do like airwalks, by the way, check out the base game run on Sunday, because that run, spoiler alert by the way, has a 4-minute airwalk. Which is insane. Shout out to Drep for finding that. So this is the last Shapeshifter fight. Again, standard, we just knocked him off the ledge. This time we got to charge the warrior, so we didn't have to knock him as far. Let's see if we can charge the hunter or if he'll charge us. Again, it's RNG whether he does or not. Okay, we got to charge him. And then we just have to knock him once. We don't have to do the throw combo. Oh yeah, so fun thing here. If we jump like that, here, as you can see, you just teleport back. Obviously that's a time waste, but for a marathon, it's fine, I can show it off. For whatever reason, if you just jump too early after the fight, the game just doesn't register it and takes you back to the platform. And all the way to the beginning of the platform too. I could have gone a bit earlier there, but that's fine. These cycles here are a bit finicky, sometimes you have to wait quite a bit. We should be good now though. Small skip here, just to skip a bit of platforming. We can jump to that fissure there. by doing a thing like that. Very simple. And we continue onwards, and we're kind of approaching the end game now. Oh, barely dodged that one. So there's going to be one more dad fight here. This one is going to have a few phases. We can just jump into this cutscene here. Obviously that height is actually... We can't drop down to the floor there. It would kill us, but we drop down into the cutscene and the cutscene starts and we're fine. Anyway, jump scare. Oh my god, insane. So here we're just gonna throw Dad off the ledge by doing a throw combo. So this fight is a bit different because we don't actually have to deal damage to him, we just have to throw him off the ledge. Then here we're gonna do a backwards throw combo. And again, this is not really intended as a backwards throw combo. So, like that. Realistically, each of these hits is intended to do damage, but it just so happens that it throws the enemy backwards and we use that to our advantage. And then we charge, do a throw with 2 Elika hits before that to knock him even further. And then one more throw to knock him into that throne there. To finish him off for good, but it's not really for good. For our purposes it's for good, because we won't have to fight him again. And ouch, that looks painful. And then a father and daughter moment here, I suppose. So, I haven't really gone over this, but lore-wise, spoiler alert, at the end of the base game run, or at the end of the base game, not necessarily the run, the prince releases a dark god called Ahriman to bring Elika back to life because she dies. That's a very simplified explanation of what happens, and there are reasons for why he did that. He's not really like a bad guy or anything. But because of that, this dark god called Ahriman has been chasing us this entire run. We haven't really seen him, but we will see him in this final section. To some extent, we're gonna see like his hands, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if we'll see his hands. He's definitely gonna be chasing us, though. We do see his hands at the end of the base game run. I know that's a crucial detail. Do we see his hands or not? Okay, cutscene here, and then, as I said, we didn't actually kill Elika's father for good. But for our purposes, it's for good. And there he is. And then this is the final room. There aren't any skips left here, we just sort of move until we get to the end. So Toko or Eraser or whoever, like, time is in 1 or 2 minutes. But yeah, so the dark god called Ahriman is chasing us now, and that's why this corruption is rising up. We're on these safe zones. This makes a lot more sense if you've played the base game, and you would have already seen this at the end of the base game. Although it's fairly intuitive here as well, I suppose. It's not too complicated. It's just some zones that corruption can't go to. And another one of those. Short this jump. We're supposed to wall run a bit further and then do a single jump, but because double jump is a mechanic in this game, we can just jump early and double jump. It's technically a skip, but it's very simple and very intuitive how it works. And we're approaching the end now, just like 30 more seconds, if that. And just take this blue plate and another blue plate, and then time ends when we jump on the balcony, so get ready now. And time.
We're through. I think we're clear.
I couldn't heal him.
What is that?
Armor was too strong.
That's 38:30. Realistically, we started like
Doesn't mean
19 seconds early because we started before the loading screen, so that's 38:11. If we time it
we have to get out of here. If we
based
cross the
on
desert, there's a city 2
how
days
the
away.
rules on speedrun.com would time it.
Further, but we could cross the sea, find somewhere further away.
Too much underestimate. I'm sorry.
Miles watch over.
Elika, you can't do this alone.
I know. That is why.
Let's just hope that Funky is ready with T2T Mobile.
Elika! Elika!
Don't forget to stay here for some insane Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones mobile game by Funky Elephant right after this run. Okay, let me just connect my headset back to my PC so that if Eraser or Toko come back, I can hear them.
Well, congratulations on being an iconic Prince of Persia speedrunner.
Yes. But yeah, anyway, I mean, that's it from me for now. As I said, I'll be running the base game with Sam on Sunday. I can't remember what time it is. It's like rough, something like this time as well. Tomorrow I'm also doing Dungeons and Dragons, Prince of Persia 2008 edition. Although I personally might not make that, depending on work. I don't know yet, but other people will definitely be playing Dungeons and Dragons Prince of Persia 2008 edition. So this game edition, it's basically gonna be like exploring what happens like 2,000 years before this game actually happens. We're gonna be responsible for the original imprisonment of Ahriman, essentially. But yeah, I mean, sorry for finishing underestimate. I don't really have much else to show off, particularly because this is console. So I'll hand
transition over into the intermission and then have like 30 minutes break and then we'll continue.
Yeah, it's like I remember the breaks from last PoPRuns. Where it's like, oh, we're on a break, we're setting up the next run, and everyone's just eating pizza. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, I guess. Sorry, secret information.
Right.
Yes. Well, I was also eating pizza, so you know.